Stress and distress management becomes a very important topic to all of us. And this could be outside academic life, even in our social life. This is an important topic that should be considered. Now, stress is something that we cannot run away from. And therefore, it's important that we know how to manage this stress. Our learning objectives that number one, we need to define what stress is. We also need to define what causes stress. We need to also understand signs of stress. How will you know that you have stress or you are experiencing stress? It won't be very enough for you just to know this stress, but we need also to manage stress in a more effective manner. So definition of terms that we'll focus on, it's the word stress, burnout, and wellness. Now, stress can be defined as the reaction to a stimulus that disrupts our physical or mental equilibrium. Okay, maybe just to expand this means that stress is something that will disturb your normal physical and mental well-being. That's the definition in other terms. So it's a reaction that would come after you've been exposed to issues that would disrupt or disturb your physical or mental wellness. Okay. Now, emotional and physiological reactions experienced when an individual confronts or comes across situations in which there is a demand of one to go beyond their coping resources, that can also be explained as a stress. And this is known as psychological stress. Why is it known as psychological stress? Because it is affecting your emotions. So we have seen individuals who are not very strong in maintaining their stance, and in the end we see someone breaking down. That is psychological stress. Okay. Physical stress can also occur, and the best example of physical stress is when someone falls sick. Those of you who are infected by coronavirus, this is something that you can relate to. There was physical stress, too much pain of muscles, unexplained loss of appetite and smell, sense of smell, all that. Okay. Now, burnout, usually it is stress that would come after a long period of time. So usually this is experienced over a long period of time, and it is exhaustion. You are too tired, and in the end, you don't even have interest in anything surrounding you. Okay. It's like some people would say the tired in you is now tired. Okay. That is burnout. Wellness, it's a term that cannot be defined by a single word. Okay. That's why it's being called as being multi-dimensional. All right. So when you are well or healthy, you need to be have a well-balanced state of your physical, the mental, the emotional areas of your life, okay? So wellness is multidimensional, and when someone is well, they will have a purpose and meaning in life, right? Let's move on. Let's now basically emphasize or put more emphasis on what we are discussing. Stress, as I earlier indicated when we were just beginning this session, we said this occurs on a daily basis. As we speak, some of you are even stressed, okay? You are stressed of this school, which you have not even yet started. You are stressed of this marriage, which you have not even yet gone into, all that. Now, you should also know that at times, this can be very difficult to manage. And therefore, each one of us, we need to understand that stress is unique by an individual and can be very personal. The way I experience my stress cannot be the exact way you experience your stress, okay? And at times, it's very important for each one of us to know what stresses us. So self-awareness becomes so important. And each one of us, we need to know that apart from being so aware of ourselves, we need also to know ways in which we relieve this stress, okay? Now, we are told that stress has potential to disturb physical or mental equilibrium. And therefore, it's very important, by the way. At times, someone would not perform very well in school. It is not because they are dull, no. It is maybe that they are too stressed and they cannot handle their stress levels. Many times in my life, I've witnessed students who would go in this examination. Just after a few minutes, they go into an asthmatic attack. Why is this so? They are too stressed and hormones are produced, and in the end, they are in a panic mood, okay? So stress has potential to disrupt your life. Now, one thing that can also be understood about stress is that its manifestations, okay, can be noticed in the feelings, having weird ideas and behavior, and at times one may just be noticed that they are stressed by the physical symptoms, which may include restlessness, okay? You are not focused, you cannot sit in one position, and all that. And if we do not handle this stress very well, in the end, it may just lead to diseases. Some have broken down, some have even run mad because they cannot manage their stress levels. Now, main triggers can cause buildup of feelings and can cause this stress, and this will at times result in one being upset for a consistent period of time. What are these three triggers of this stress? What are the three triggers of this stress? And from the projection, we are able to note that number one, we have frustrations, okay? At times when you are too frustrated in life, that can be a source of stress. And these frustrations can be consistent. So consistent, prolonged levels of frustrations may be a source of stress. Apart from this, conflicts, okay? Conflicts, it could be at home, it could be with your friends, can also be a real source of stress. Sometimes it could be pressure, and this pressure can be from a lot of things, okay? Pressure from your relationships, pressure from your family, pressure from academics, or that. So these are real situations, frustrations, conflicts, and pressure. All right. Let's begin with frustration. Now, frustrations can occur where someone is prevented from doing something they want to do, okay? A situation when you are blocked from performing what you would have thought could have been the best. So frustration sets in. Then apart from this, it's also very important to take note, like what we said earlier on, that the other source of stress is conflict. This is a situation when you are unable to agree with another party, meaning your friend. And by the way, conflicts can also be intrapersonal, meaning you can have individual conflicts. Some of us, we have conflicts even on what to wear. You don't know what to put on. The meeting you are told is starting at 9 and you woke up at 8, you bath everything. Just to dress up, it will take you even the next 2 hours. So intrapersonal conflict can also be very dangerous. Then we should also take note, like what area on said pressure. Now, pressure occurs when someone feels forced to do things that they do not want. Okay, forced to do too much. This could be in a sexual relationship, right? There is so much pressure, maybe from income. You don't know what you're able to do. So all this can be sources of stress. Okay. Now, the question is, did I get any question? Someone wanted to say something?
So I wanted to say that the volume is very low.
The volume is very low. Let me increase on the volume. So what is the danger of stress? That's the next important question. Now, the danger of stress, if you are very unable to manage your stress, it will just lead to explosion. Okay. We have seen people that have gone insane. Okay. It's not because they are unable they're unable to take care of themselves, but at times it's the levels of this stress that has gone to overwhelming levels, and in the end, explosion occurs. Now, we should also know that each one of us, let's visualize ourselves as a 4-roomed house, okay? In a room of this house, we have the physical component sitting in. Another room of this house, we have the emotional component sitting there. Then another room, we have the social component sitting in there. The other room also has the spiritual component sitting in there. Now, these 4 areas, physical, emotional, social, and spiritual, can be real sources of this stress, or these can be areas where this stress can be noticed, okay? For example, when we come to social, someone is so stressed because of their social life, and in the end, they even avoid mingling with others. It could be spiritual, it could be emotional, it could be physical. It's important that all of us, we need to rest. Those who are Bible students, we are taught that from Genesis, we are taught that we need to wake. And this wake as a condition. After you have waked, you need to rest. And again, it becomes a sin to rest when you have not waked. So it goes two ways. And if you have overworked and you do not want to rest, that can just lead to stress. We have seen this student studying the all night, studying the all day. And in the end, they are too stressed, their physical capability cannot hold on. And in the end, we have this explosion. So it's important that we maintain the equilibrium between the physical, emotional, social, and the spiritual aspects of our lives. Okay. Now, one thing that we should also take note, we usually think of stressors or things that create stress in us to be negative things. However, we also need to know that at times these stresses can come from positive things or positive events. All right. All right. Now, in 1 minute, each one of us, I know we have papers. Can we just write down any 4 examples of causes of stress in your life? What has ever caused stress in your life? So just 4 examples. Or because of time, can we just write 1 cause of stress in your life? 1 cause of stress in your life? Or can you think of anything that has caused stress in your life? Okay, since you have already thought of 1, let's go through together. These could be very common causes of stress. Number 1, death, illness of beloved one. And I should indicate that during this period of COVID, our lives, all of us are so stressed. You don't know whether you get COVID today, you get it tomorrow. And a bigger question is, how will that COVID take you? Will you get well in the shortest period of time, or will it be prolonged? The other cause of stress, it is sickness. And when you look through this, they are coming from those rooms in our house, spiritual, physical, psychological, all that, okay? For example, death. Death has to do with the physical aspect of a human being. Sickness, it has to do with the physical aspect of the human being. Loss of property, this can be multidimensional, all right? You're walking in town, then from nowhere, you see this thief, and that could be very common in Lusaka. You see this thief coming through you, and from nowhere, they pick up your phone, right? You have lost one valuable property, that is your phone. That can just be a cause of stress. Isolation, alone, fear, okay? And fear, for example, failing an examination can be a source of stress. You don't know what your sponsor will tell you next, whether to quit school or to continue. At times, causes of stresses in our lives could be family change. Families that are divided, okay? Families that are going through divorce processes. Families that are now having this newborn baby. Families that are undergoing issues of marriage may be so stressed. Okay, threats, this could be threats in so many angles, economical threats. It could be someone stalking you. Then it's also very important to take note. It's also very important to take note that the other thing that may just be a cause of stress is work overload. That is why we're trying to teach you all of this. Because when you begin your course, for example, just this semester, you'll be taking a total number of 8 courses. It won't be very easy, but if you are able to manage your stress very well, these are things that will be walkover. Hunger, not having food, that's a real stress. Abuse, this could be drug abuse or alcoholism. And when one has begun abusing drugs, they all have that stress of where should I get my next drug or alcohol for abuse. Disappointments, great level of stress can come from disappointments. You are too stuck. You don't know what to do after this thing has happened in a negative way. Maybe you thought this could be something that will be very positive. So stress can come from all these financial difficulties, environmental changes. And by the way, all of us were a bit distressed seeing what um, the weather has done to us. Okay, so much damage to the ozone is it layer, the cutting down of trees. Okay, it has demonstrated that there is so much environmental change, and we don't have rains as we were having. And when we have rains, it was not common in Zambia to hear that there are floods, but today it's very common. Responsibilities, when they have increased, for example, in a new job, this could be a source of stress. Lack of sleep, okay? Lack of sleep, which is also a remedy or a cure for stress. But if you are not having enough sleeping, this can be as a result of a lot of issues. It will just lead to stress. Now, what could be enough sleep? At least a minimum of 7 and above hours. Uncomfortable workplaces. This again could be uncomfortable learning environment, or this could be areas that can bring up stress. What could be the symptoms of stress? Anxiety, number one. You are too anxious. Secondly, irritability. Okay, you are too irritable. Anyone who says something to you, it's now your target. You have so much fear, all right? At times, unfortunately, some could also be depressed. Some will feel that sense of hopelessness. Others, it could be a sense of helplessness, impatience. You can't wait even a second, okay? Nervousness, at times it could be guiltness. So these could be symptoms, and they also could be signs of one being stressed. Then, apart from this, constant worrying, that could be psychological symptoms. Constant worrying, seeing only the negative. Everything you see around you is negative. Earlier on, I was giving an example. You would comment someone, okay, your hair look nice, but your shoes, see, okay, yeah, your jacket is beautiful, yeah, but your buttons, all that, you're just negative. This relish is nice, but there's too much soup, okay? This shimmer is okay, but it was too soft. Memory problems, you cannot remember even recent activities. The other thing that could be a symptom of stress with regard to psychological symptom, your mind, it could be self-criticisms. You are ever criticizing yourself, even for things that you have not done. Then difficulties in concentrating or making decisions. Okay, you can't make a decision every time you want to consult. How is this? Even your clothes, you can't just put on clothes. Even your shoes, you need to consult someone. Repetitive thoughts. Every time you're thinking of the same thing. Every time you're thinking of the same thing. You are stressed, your brain is jammed, it can't move forward. Then fear of failure. All of us, we should not fear failing. Those who fear a failure, it's because they have experienced this and their levels of stress are so alarming. Behavioral symptoms may include difficulty in speaking, crying, you're crying, baby, everything you're crying, everything you're crying. You have failed this course, you are crying, acting impulsively without even thinking. You act without thinking, then you think after you have done a lot of things. Nervous laughter, teeth grinding. This can be, of course, at times you can't say those who grind their teeth, they are stressed. Sometimes it should be a habit. One is just born like that. But if you have noticed, if someone is starting doing that, they have not been doing that previously, that could just be a level of stress. Bed waiting. even in adults. Okay. Every time you have strange dreams, you are swimming in a pool, all that, you wake up, your bed is wet, right? You go through, no, you couldn't even have taken enough water before going to bed, waiting there. Isolation, just want to be alone, you are stressed, okay? Neglecting or putting off responsibilities. You need to study today. You feel so tired, no, I'll study tomorrow. Restlessness, increased or decreased appetite. But again, it's very important to take note. Some of you overeat. Eating every time, it could be a symptom of stress, which may lead to depression. The other symptoms, which are physical, could include sweating, okay, sleep disturbances. At times you're sleeping less or you're sleeping too much. Fatigue, okay, headache, backache, heart palpitations. At times you have diarrhea because of the hormones that have been produced in your body. So the intestines are moving at a very faster rate. Food is not staying in your body, so you have diarrhea. Nausea or dizziness, loss of sex drive. We are not saying those who are single, if you don't have this sex drive, then you are stressed. No. This is with people that are engaged in sexual activity, and by the way, only married ones. Rapid breathing, dry mouth, lip biting. Okay. How can you manage your stress? How can I manage my stress? Important question. How do you manage your stress? Now, stress management could be in so many ways. All right. Number one, we need to understand what has been stressing you. All right. And we need, again, to ensure that we manage our stress in a very positive manner. And the following could just be important. Firstly, you need to make certain lifestyle changes, which would include having a health diet. At times when you're having this health diet, ensure that plenty of water is taken, joining a group activity, exercising, taking a walk, running, or any other sporting activity that you can tolerate. Don't say you are not an exercise person. All of us can exercise, just that we have not yet discovered which exercise entertains us more. Okay? So exercising is very important. Now, taking a walk does not mean you are staying, for example, those are coming from Lusaka, you're coming from Kamwala South, or where your school is in Chalala. Then you take a walk going into town because you don't have transport money. Then you say, no, I'm taking a walk, I'm exercising. That will even stress you more. Okay. So an exercise is an activity that can be done in 30 minutes and you should sweat after that. And your mind should be put to that task.
I'm exercising.
Watching entertaining movies on television. This, again, should be done in a manner that does not consume your time. Reading spiritual books, the Bible is the best. Having enough rest, again, not oversleeping. Eating healthy foods, playing games. This, I think, we have already mentioned. Then, we also need to know that we need to give ourselves enough time to think through and adequate time to rest. All right. Simplify your life. If you don't have money, do not buy things that you cannot manage. If your income is 10 kwacha, your expenditure should be below a 10 kwacha. We have seen people that want to live lives that they cannot manage. You come into school, you want to shine, you want to put on expensive clothes, and in the end, you are stressed because you want to maintain the same lifestyle. If you are coming from a poorer family, be it. The reason why you have come to school, you want to improve yourself. Take time to do more work than any other thing. The other thing on ensuring that you manage your stress, if you have any conflicts, ensure that you resolve your conflicts. Do not add fuel to the fire, okay? Try to settle your differences privately if possible and very respectfully. If you are a student who has gone into a conflict with a fellow student, try to resolve that without any delay. Forgiveness is not only beautiful, but it's also good medicine. Try to forgive at any cost. Okay? Then unforgiving thoughts results in significantly higher blood pressure and heart rate, whereas the forgiving attitude reduces the stress. So put aside all issues that are making it feel like you are stressed. The other thing is insecurity. Some of us, we don't believe in ourselves. We think we are less than compared to others. So think positively, okay? Think positively, be confident, all right? Then cling to people that can support you, people that cannot stress you. The other thing that you should also focus on is by ensuring that number one, you avoid all stressors, okay? If the thing that has been stressing you is your friend, try to avoid them. Avoiding friends does not mean you are not socializing in a proper manner. The other thing is have high self-esteem, all right? Have high self-esteem. Be an effective communicator. If your stressor is your friend, talk to them in a very positive manner. A no should be a no. A no should not even sound like a yes. If you have said no, it is a no and it should end there. Then in conclusion, stress is to the human condition, while tension is to the violin string. What does this mean? Too little music and music is dull and raspy. Too much and the music is through or the string snaps. Do not stress yourself to the uttermost. Ensure that you avoid distress by all means. I will stop this session just now. We are going into another session. So log out, check for another link where we'll continue.
Are you